No, I am.
Yours, okay.
Okay.
Okay, if you're ready to call your next witness, you can.
The city calls Kelly Harrison.
Okay, I'll just remind everyone the rule of sequestration is in place, so if you're a witness that's gonna testify today, you can be in the courtroom right now. Good morning.
Just raise your right hand now. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you shall give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And ma'am, if I can get you to state your name and spell it for the record for me, please.
Kelly Harrison.
You can be seated.
Can you spell your name, please?
Kelly, Kelly, Harrison, Harrison.
Good morning, Ms. Harrison. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peach Street?
I am.
How are you familiar with that property address, ma'am?
I live 8/10 of a mile from the property.
Okay. And how long have you been at your residence?
3 years.
And how does that particular property, 2110 Peach Street, also known as 1145 Lounge, affect your daily life?
Basically, when the club is open, especially on the weekends, we are subject to tons of noise violations. We can hear the club inside our home.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I need counsel back up to the bench real quick on that matter we just talked about. I'm sorry, now, it's not about you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Harrison, I'll repeat the question. How does that particular property, 2110, affect your daily life?
So when the club was open on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays especially, the noise, we can hear the club inside our home, even that far away. Also, traffic is very bad in the area, very unsafe. We go to the Fresh Market Shopping Center directly across the street from the club, and we time our visits based around when it was open simply because we could not get there half the time.
Okay. And do you know about any criminal activity on the property?
I do.
Can you tell the court about that?
I'm aware of the shooting that happened in May, but I'm also aware of the events prior to that. I am aware, remember somebody being shot in the parking lot in a car and it rolling down Bennett Street. I've read all the various shootings and different things over the years.
Okay. And are you a member of any civic or community organization?
I am.
And can you tell the court if you hold any positions in any civic or community organization?
I do. I'm the vice president of the Peachtree Hills Civic Association.
And has this property address come up in any meetings?
Yes, ma'am, it has.
Can you tell the court about that?
So residents constantly want to know what we can do, which we are just a group of volunteers, but raising the issues, noise, sound. People are concerned about crime. We have some older residents that are afraid to go to area businesses and grocery stores because they're just fearful because they've read about the shootings and the other things that have happened. We had one resident approach us concerned because the street gets blocked. She said there's an emergency. I'm terrified.
Ma'am, can you just go about what
Yes.
you know personally?
Yes, that's what we've gotten from residents.
Okay. Have you voiced any concerns to members of city council or the administration?
I have actually sent an email the weekend before the shooting to City Council MPU regarding noise complaints and just general disarray in the area.
Have you at any time called authorities about 2110 Peach Street?
I have not personally.
Is there any, I'm sorry, how many members are there with Peachtree Hills?
We have roughly 700 homes and probably about 450 members.
And you serve as vice president?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any other concerns you would like the court to know about 2110 Peachtree?
I just don't think the club needs to be in such a highly residential area and also an area that is next to the hospital, the Shepherd Center, retirement facility across the street. The noise, the crime, the just derelict of the building is terrible. You know, it's an eyesore, and it's just not, they're not good neighbors to the rest of the neighborhood and the community.
Okay, and in the 3 years that you've lived in Peachtree Hills, do you know 2110 to be a restaurant or a club?
I was always told it was a club.
Okay. And when the club is open, do you feel safe?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And since the club has been closed, can you describe to the court the atmosphere?
Oh my gosh, it's like night and day. Just totally different. You wouldn't, it's great.
And how is it different?
There's no noise, there's no people loitering and blocking traffic. You feel like you can go about your business in that area safely. It's just much better environment.
When the club is open, would you say you have quiet enjoyment of your home?
When it's open, oh no, absolutely not.
Okay. And since it's been closed, you have had
Yes.
quiet enjoyment at your home?
Yes. Can
Thank
use my
you.
backyard, yes.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
My name is Harrison. So you mentioned, well, let me start with this. How long have you been living in your at your current house, your current
3
residence?
years.
3 years. Are you familiar with any other restaurants or clubs on Bennett Street?
No, that's all I know of.
Have you ever driven down Bennett Street?
I have, but it's been a while.
Have you not heard of Taranga or Zari or any other lines?
I've heard of Zari.
You've heard of Zari. So were you aware that Zari's on Bennett Street as well?
I probably didn't, I just knew it was in the general area.
Were you aware that Zari, Taranga, and other businesses on Bennett Street utilize the same parking lot as 1145?
No, but that would make sense, they're all right there together.
Were you aware that the parking lot directly across the street from, directly adjacent to 1145 is not owned by 1145?
That should be for, the Cafe Sunflower, that center you're talking about?
No, the parking lot directly adjacent to 1145, so on the other side of Bennett Street.
Oh, okay, no.
You weren't. So you would consider that parking lot, prior to learning that today, you would consider that part of 1145 when you talk about describing incidents at 1145?
I mean, I would assume their patrons park there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you don't know, so you really don't know who parks in that parking lot, is what your testimony is. You assume they park, but you don't know.
I don't know, no.
Okay, also, are you aware, sorry, you mentioned that there were noise, crime, and other complaints. Have you called the police for noise issues from 1145?
I have not.
Why is that? If you can hear 1145, why would you not call and complain about the noise?
Because, our police are understaffed, I know that. What good is it gonna do calling 911 for a noise violation when they have bigger fish to fry?
So then I guess it's not that big of a harm if you didn't think that you.
I've sent letters and emails to the city council and NPU. I also, think that's the best that I can do. I think their response is always that they are aware of the problem.
So when you hear noise, or you say you hear noise from your residence 0.8 of a mile away, how do you know that it's coming from 1145, not any other businesses on Bennett Street?
I would tell you that's the noisiest one because I've been shopping across the street when the club is open, and you definitely know that the noise is coming from 1145. It's unmistakable.
It's unmistakable. So it's unmistakable, then wouldn't it make sense to call the cops to have them, if it's so much of a nuisance, wouldn't it make sense to call the cops to have them address that and to cite the business?
I don't know what the cops would do other than go by the club. They can't stop the noise.
Well, they can cite the club. Have you witnessed any crime at 1145 or around?
I have not personally.
So when you say that you heard about, when you talk about somebody being shot in a car, you didn't physically see that?
No, I
You
read
just
that.
heard
I saw that on the news and read the paper.
Okay. Have you reached out to any other units, anybody else from the city besides city council about your issues with
The Zone 2 commander.
Zone 2 commander.
Yeah.
And you would agree, I know you stated that the club's in a highly residential neighborhood, but you would also agree that Bennett Street is a commercial street. Is there any residential zone properties or residences on Bennett Street that you're aware of?
Not that I know of.
And that's all I have for now.
I have a question. Do you ever contact the landlord
No.
and do you have any other problems with other businesses in that property?
No.
That's all I have.
Any redirect?
No redirect.
Can she be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, you're excused. If you'd like to watch, you can, but you definitely need to.
Ready for your next witness?
The city calls Tim Rockwell.
You stand by that, please. If trying to face me, raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you get to the court is the truth, the whole truth, so help you?
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat and enter the mic, state and spell your name for the court.
Tim Rockwell, Timrehklau.
Good morning, Mr. Rockwell. How are you employed?
I'm employed with the City of Atlanta Office of Buildings,
And how long have you been employed with the City of Atlanta Office of Buildings?
7.5 years.
And what is your current title?
I'm the combination chief inspector for the City of Atlanta Office of Buildings.
And what are your job duties?
I manage a team of 30-plus city inspectors
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
across the city.
Okay. And how long have you been in that position?
4 years.
Okay. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes,
Is that property address in the City of Atlanta, Fulton County?
it is.
Okay. And did you go out and do an inspection on August 6th of 2023?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the court about that inspection, please, Mr. Rockwell?
Yes, I performed an inspection on Sunday, August 6th, due to a complaint that my office had received
Okay.
concerning that.
Okay. And what was the complaint?
The complaint was regarding a project that was occupied prior to inspection sequence completing.
And what did you observe, if anything, when you went to the property address on August 6th of 2023?
I was able to do a tour of inside the patio enclosure project that was permitted with the city that had an incomplete inspection sequence, and noticed many violations and recorded them in the system.
Okay, and what violations did you find?
Multiple mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work had been performed within the enclosure without permits at that time. And it appeared as if the space was being used fully, furniture and inside, and that's about it.
Okay, and did you post anything at the property when you did your inspection?
Yes, because there was evidence that the space was being occupied and used by the public, I posted the project unsafe on the entrance door on the Peachtree Road sidewalk right away.
Okay, and did you take any pictures of that posting?
Yes, I did. They're in record in Excella.
Okay, and what is Excella?
Excella is the program that the city building inspectors use to record inspections throughout the city, and also cases such as this, unsafe and stop work.
Okay, and are you an authorized user of Excella?
Yes, I am.
And do you have a terminal connection to Excella from your desk?
Yes, I do.
Okay, may I approach? I'm showing you what's been marked as petitioner number 6. Mr. Rockwell, are those the photographs that you took on August 6th of 2023 of the unsafe placard at 2110 Peachtree?
Yes, they are.
And is that photograph a accurate depiction of what the posting looked like?
It is.
Okay, and did you download that into Excella?
I did.
And is it customary for you to download pictures and postings into Excella?
Every day.
Okay?
Yes.
And Excella is the custodian.
That's correct.
At this time, I would like to tender in evidence petitioner number 6, Your Honor.
Any objection? It's admitted, you can publish.
Thank you. Mr. Reckow, did you speak with anybody on that date and time about the unsafe building?
I spoke with 2 individuals that escorted me into the main building, through the main building into the enclosed patio area. They both mentioned they were, assistant managers, or there was a lady and a man. I didn't acquire. I asked for business cards, but I didn't get them.
Okay. Did you cite the business on that date and time?
No, I did not cite anybody.
And why not, Mr. Reckow?
I don't cite people. Typically, that's zoning enforcement does follow up on cases such as this.
Okay, and did you do a follow-up with an actual enforcement officer that's certified under 98-1 to issue citations?
We had discussions with it after the fact about my unsafe building posting to have zoning enforcement address it.
Okay, and can you describe the enclosure for the court, please?
Yes, this is an alloy metal framed enclosure with extruded aluminum framework on the walls that support glass. It's like a glass enclosure with metal frames with an operable louvered roof that actually opens and closes. But it is actually an enclosure, not a canopy, because it has walls.
Okay, and what was it actually permitted for?
It was permitted, the plan shows the enclosure, but the scope mentions canopy. So it's kind of different than what the structure actually is.
So in your experience, they exceeded the scope of the permit?
I think the scope was confusing. I don't think it was as descriptive as it should have been. That happens, but the plan does reflect enclosure.
Okay, can you tell the court what exactly they did without a permit?
Yes, so they did, when I arrived, I observed multiple HVAC systems, heating and air conditioning systems, standalone ductless, installed throughout this enclosure. There was a number of 8 of these units. This always requires a mechanical permit, approvals, permits, inspections prior to installing any HVAC equipment. None of this had been done previous to this installation. I was told they were portable AC units. They are not. They were split systems. They were wired to receptacles throughout the enclosure. And after further examining them, they appeared to be UL, unlisted equipment, would make them illegal in the United States to install.
Anything else that was permitted? You mentioned plumbing and electrical.
Yes, the electrical work, there's electrical wiring throughout, not only to supply power to these HVAC systems spread out amongst the enclosure, but also there's lighting, there's receptacles, there's low volt lighting, none of which had been permitted. The plumbing, there was plumbing on a gang sink towards the entrance of the enclosure that had been obviously done without a permit as well.
And is this particular enclosure deck connected to the main building?
It is connected directly up to the main building, yes.
So meaning that, and what connects it to the main building?
Well, the framework of the enclosure is actually tied directly to the main building.
Is there a door that connects to the main building that you can enter the main building?
There shouldn't have been a door, but there was a door. But because there were never any inspections requested under the permit for the enclosure, we never had a chance to actually perform a footing, a framing rough, or a final for that structure.
Okay, so if there's a patron in the main building, they could actually go through that door to an unsafe building, is that correct?
That's the way I was escorted directly from the old building, directly right into the enclosure on the patio.
Okay. In case of emergency, can patrons go from the main building into this unpermitted, unsafe structure?
Well, the structure itself had a permit for a building permit. The structure itself was approved and permitted, but they didn't request the proper inspections. But yes, patrons could travel from the main building into the patio enclosure, yes,
Which you deem to be unsafe?
correct.
From the date that you did your inspection, from August, almost been a year, from August 7th of August 6th, I'm sorry, of 2023 until today's date, has there been corrective or remediation measures taken on that unsafe structure?
Yes, they have pulled a couple of trade permits. They pulled a mechanical permit to try to address the unpermitted HVAC systems.
And when did they pull that permit?
I don't know the exact date, but sometime after my unsafe
Okay.
building date, they pulled a mechanical permit for the HVAC systems. What existed at the time of my inspection, there were 8. On their permit, there were 4 listed in the scope, 4 HVAC systems.
Okay.
They also pulled a plumbing permit to address the gang sink plumbing drainage that was observed by me, which has satisfied a final inspection.
When
And
was that final inspection done?
I'm not sure the date that the final plumbing inspection was done, but it was sometime again after they pulled the permit.
Okay.
And they did pull an electrical permit, but the scope is confused because, as I mentioned, there was electrical work that took place within the enclosure, and the permit itself that they pulled for electrical work claims that no work was done, and then it passed to final. So the scope is incorrect. That also needs to be satisfied.
In your professional opinion, are they in compliance with this enclosed structure?
No.
Why?
Well, Let's start with the electrical permit. The electrical permit needs to specify all the electrical work done. It needs to be acquired, it needs to complete the sequence of inspections. It needs to complete a rough electrical and a final electrical. The mechanical permit that reflects in the scope for HVAC systems being installed, it is my understanding that that contractor removed all of the 8 HVAC systems that existed on August 6th of '23 and was gonna just remove all of the equipment and retract that permit, which has never been done. So there may or may not be HVAC systems existing right now. That needs to be addressed. And the structure itself they have never even requested a footing inspection so we can confirm anchorage for the structure. A rough inspection so we can confirm the structural integrity of the structure. And a final inspection that confirms everything, including all the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and building inspection sequences.
So as we stand here today, it's still an unsafe building, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you, nothing further.
Cross-examination?
How you doing, Mr. Rector?
I'm doing as good as I can. Thank you.
Would you like a bottle of water?
Oh, no, fine, thank you.
So your testimony is that on August 6th, you came by due to a complaint, and that's what brought you to the premises on August 6th, correct?
That is correct.
However, what you testified also was that the business had already pulled a permit for the patio, but it was incomplete and it was missing some inspections at that time, correct? Is that accurate?
The building permit had been acquired, but no inspections had been requested.
So in your experience, can a building owner pull a permit or can they request inspections for mechanical, electrical, or plumbing without the assistance of a licensed contractor?
Not a commercial trade permit without a licensed contractor.
So that means that any of these requests, any of these revisions, or any of these permits, inspections that need to be scheduled would have had to have been done in conjunction with or by a licensed individual or licensed contractor, correct?
That's true, yes.
Since the August date when you came out there to inspect the premises, were you aware that 1145 applied for a variance on the patio?
I heard that there was some type of right-of-way encroachment, yes.
And from your experience working in the building for over, I believe, you said 7 years?
Yes,
In
seven
your,
years.
in your experience, can the building department approve permits when there's outstanding zoning issues such as pending variances or other type of zoning actions pending with the city? Can the city still approve permits while those are pending?
Typically, a zoning approval is a prerequisite for building to review a plan.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that after you inspected the patio, you did not issue a citation because you usually don't cite any businesses but zoning sites. That you would refer to zoning in most cases, right?
Zoning enforcement.
Zoning enforcement.
I don't have the certification to cite.
I know you said you reached out to zoning enforcement. You're not aware of any citations regarding, are you aware of any citations related to 1145 for the patio or the inside of the business or are you aware of any from zoning?
I've looked at the case within Excella, and it looks like I'm aware of, I guess, maybe a court date was given or a pretrial or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of all their processes.
But-
Forgive me.
But you don't have personal knowledge of any particular citation, you can't tell us what
I-
that was done for.
I do not.
Have you followed up with the city to express any concerns? Have you followed up with zoning to express any concerns since that August date? Have you followed up since the original conversation with zoning to express concerns about the patio?
I have not. So, once zoning takes it, they are a separate department, so I don't oversee them. They kind of take it from there.
To your knowledge, has the patio been utilized since your inspection in August of 2023? Do you have knowledge of 1145 patrons utilizing that patio?
I'm not sure of any usage of the patio after that date.
Has anybody called you to complain about any other complaints related to the patio or the building since that date?
I haven't heard of any other complaints.
That's all I have.
Cross.
Sorry. So during your visit of the property, did you contact the property owner?
I showed up on a Sunday, and approached the main entrance. Obviously, the business was open, and identified myself, that I was with the office buildings and I needed to do a tour of the project, and I awaited someone to escort me.
But do you know who this person was or
I,
who was there?
they represented themselves to me as management, these two individuals that led me over to the enclosure. But
tenant business? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
They've represented themselves as management of the establishment to me.
okay. And when you say the building that cannot be occupied, we're talking only about the patio, right? Not the actual main building?
That is correct, and the unsafe building is specific about the permitted incomplete enclosure, a patio enclosure.
Do you know who applied for that permit? Do you
Not-
have
not-
like the name or the business or that applied for that
Not-
permit?
Not in front of me, it's in the record though.
Okay. And you don't remember?
I don't have it here with me, no.
Okay, thank you. Can that tenant apply for a permit?
On a commercial project, it has to be a GC,
Okay,
a general contractor.
Okay,
You know, just not anyone can apply for a commercial building permit.
so can a tenant hire a general contractor and that general contractor apply for a permit?
Anyone can hire a general contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
Okay. Can he be excused?
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you do have redirect?
No. I'll call him next week.
Okay, you're
Okay,
excused.
thank you.
Just. Is there anyone here who's for a presiding matter while we're on a little break?
All right, Judge, may we approach?
Of course. Okay, we're gonna take a comfort break so everybody can step out for a few minutes. And before we do that, let's just fix the record.
Thank you. And so, just for clarification on the record, during today's hearing, August 2nd, Mr. Defendant is still in custody. And for purposes of today's hearing, his attorney, Terry Bailey, has waived his presence, and has waived, his presence for the, initial, witnesses that we've heard today was Ms. Jessica Gardner, as well as, who's from the community, as well as Mr. Tim Rockwell, who's from the City of Atlanta Office of Buildings. And I just wanna have Mr. Bailey waive his presence on the record.
As mentioned, we do waive his presence, however, we are respectfully, in light of Mr. Daffy possibly not returning to court prior to the end of the day, we do want to supplement the witness list to add one person as a substitute representative of the business to testify later, and I can have a name for you
And
guys.
have you notified plaintiff's counsel?
I'm about to
You're
get
about
on the list.
Okay, okay, if we need to take up something about that, let me know, but that sounds fair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna take a break for a few minutes.
Okay.
No, it's not, next month. I started taking hours that I go, you gotta take care of it yesterday as well.
I'm going to take care of yesterday's as well, and I make a note on the back of your report, and I will let the court put it for yesterday.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
see that they've enclosed I'm on Channel 5, I'm sorry. No, you're good. Listen, I assumed as much, but, I am parked at Pryor Street. I'm using the Swatsea, you guys use the Swatsea system, or Project Miles. Michael, do you need that right now? Or? No. I don't need somebody.
Okay.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure I'm on your afterwards. Yeah, I'm on the, you know that intersection between Pryor and Elmwood? I'm parked on the light. Yes. Thank you. No problem.
This is our, in 44 years, this is only the fourth tenant we've had in that business. That's up front. And we own 65,000 feet behind it. We've got bars, antique shops, gun shops, boutiques. We had a school there for a while that was an Acton school. We've always got along with their neighbors. You know, they were talking about the guy that testified as he was in that building. I know your company is managed, we talk fairly often, it's the management company. And managing the lady named Ann Miana. She's the property manager for that company. And, little free letters, right? You know, we're good neighbors. And they don't like the play. But neither do I. The woman from Mocha has been there 3 years. You know, she's moving in and complaining about it. Well, that's fine.
I know, I didn't mean to walk on that lady. I'm pushing my button.
He doesn't want you to. It's not available. We tried to, we tried in the past, thought we could buy $200,000.
That's what I'm saying, yes, you can buy it, but it becomes something in your life. Because a fire, it's gonna be a million miles.
Well, it's because the settlements you had, particularly in Georgia, and so the scale. They don't want to pull out of the days. So raise it so high. All state law. So they'll look back, so we just make the rules.
The city, there are witnesses, with city officials, who visit the property.
Yeah.
Reserve violations prior to the shooting. It's gonna go all day. 6, 7. We have 7 witnesses on call today, and we've already done 2. The third one is getting ready to come up. Okay, that was but yesterday we actually had patrons who were in the club as well as the officer. And they provided information to the last, and I was trying to say, he was here. Today, it's really the city is really knows. Because one of the offenses is that the city didn't really do anything about the shooting. When we had this case, the property over here. As well as
So, tell you about right now, I'm saying, we don't know.
yes,
Bring it to April 2.
we've already heard.
So this will probably extend well into next week.
It might, because they have to put up their case in chief.
Right. And then she may take it. Reserve.
But she yeah, she definitely will take some time to, you know.
During the case where it's the TRO, which I still stay closed. Yeah.
I believe that's what we want. Because I like to status quo too.
Yeah.
And so the way the TRO is issues that gets to the state.
Yes, that makes sense. Who would you say is the most compelling?
Like we were saying yesterday, I think it's because that, you know, I had folks from the community, we had folks from, witnesses who were there on Mother's Day.
Yeah, that was the first.
It did kind of throw, yeah, it did kind of throw things off.
But I think one of the most compelling witnesses was Ms. Murphy, who was there that night. And on the stand, she was actually brought to tears, just remembering that event, putting her back there, through that chaos and being trampled and just, you know, all the events of that night. Well, we do have to.
Okay.
What's your name? Erica, ERIKA, D, as in Danielle Smith. And how you gonna be at Buckhead?
Yes, I am.
And so am I.
Yes, I actually went to the Boulay in Dallas,
Okay.
and this is a carryover from that.
I swear, AKA, y'all.
Out everywhere.
Everywhere. It's our time to shine, man.
Even in the White House, how about that?
I didn't go to Bula, even though, my chapter, my original chapter is out of University of Texas at Austin, so my whole line was there because they're in Texas, but, I had this and other stuff that had me going, and plus, my chapter here, my grad chapter. So, it's all like, hey, with the grad chapters.
the evidence, there's no.
Is this 22? Oh, this is a part of this. Let me ask Rick, what did he send this out to?
Usually it's way short, so I just let it rise, and now she says, so it's like, yeah, I'll split that. I thought it would be shorter, I'll be set up. I like it. If only I had a voice.